What's up, my Essential Units? It's Essential Man here, so back again with another classic Survivor Series pay-per-view review. So once again, we're in the 2011's WWE in the PG era. So today I'm reviewing WWE Survivor Series 2011 at Madison Square Garden in New York City on the 22nd of November 2011. The attendance for the show was 16,749. This show received about 281,000 pay-per-view buys. I think this was Survivor Series' last good buy rate for the show, and then afterwards, the show received poorly buy rates afterwards. I think it's the best buy rate since 2008. I don't want to get in depth about it. I think after the 2005 Survivor Series show, because that received the last great buy rate for the show. And afterwards, it went downwards, and then it went upwards a bit in 2008, and then went backwards again. And then the 2011 Survivor Series show did 281,000 pay-per-view buys, and then afterwards, they received bad buy rates in the next couple of years before the dawn of the WWE Network. It's just what it is. But anyway, so the commentators for the show are Michael Cole, Jerry the King Lawler, and Booker T. This is the first Survivor Series at MSG since 2002. That was memorable for the debut of Scott Steiner and the debut of the Elimination Chamber match. And sadly, this was WWE's last pay-per-view at MSG forever. They might return to MSG. Yeah, in recent years they did a show at MSG, but unfortunately that's not a pay-per-view. That was a special event on the WWE Network. One night at MSG, but it's a shame then we're not going to see a WWE pay-per-view, whether it's a WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. I don't know if they do Money in the Bank at MSG, or Royal Rumble. We're not going to, they might, after when Vince dies or retired, but it's never say never, but this is the last WWE pay-per-view at MSG. It's a shame. This Survivor Series is memorable for The Rock's first WWE match for almost 7 years. His last one was at WrestleMania in 2004, WrestleMania 20 in the handicap match between Evolution and Rock Sock Connection. Yeah, he's teaming up with his WrestleMania 28 opponent John Cena against Austin Truth. That is the headliner for that year's Survivor Series. And the tagline, I don't talk about taglines when reviewing wrestling pay-per-views. The tagline for the show are the most charismatic tag team teaming up all time, never before, never again. I'll get to that never before, never again later on in this review. So before we get to the first match of the show, John Laurinaitis came out, says he brings up this is the 25th anniversary of Survivor Series. He says that it's not just Survivor Series 25th year. This is his 10-year anniversary in the company. The reason why he said that, because at the time he was the on-screen authority figure. He was the temporary Raw GM because Vince relieved Triple H of his duties. And the reason why he said that, because he's been in WWE. I think he's been still with the company to this day. The reason why he said that, because he joined the WWE after WCW went out of business. He became a road agent, and he's kind of like a suit and tie for the WWE for a long time before becoming really an on-screen character in 2011, and now he's the Bella's stepdad. Anyway, so I think he got booed. People power. Jesus Christ, man. Those 2011 and 2012, it's for in WWE. It's kind of like a bad time. Every time John Laurinaitis on the TV screens. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so the first match to kick off the show, we got Dolph Ziggler defending the United States title against John Morrison. In Ziggler's corner, you had Vicky Guerrero in Ziggler's corner. No Swagger. Unfortunately, Swagger is in the Survivor Series match. We'll get to that match later on in this review. Anyway, so it was a good match, by the way. But besides that, the fans not really give a shit about this match. They were chanting, "We want Ryder, woo woo woo," because at the time, Zack Ryder was getting super over because of his YouTube show called Z True Long Island Stories. I think like the storyline is like Zack Ryder is signing a petition to get another shot at the United States title because he lost to Ziggler at Vengeance for the United States title. So yeah, the fans really did not give a shit. But besides that, it was a really good match between Ziggler and Morrison. I think they fought before. Really good chemistry. Vicky's reaction every time the fans chanting "We want Ryder," she's covering her ears, telling the fans to shut up. That was funny. Yeah, she got kicked out because, rejected from ringside after putting Ziggler's foot on the ropes. Try to keep it short and simple. Afterwards, Ziggler hit Morrison. Basically, Morrison going for the Starship Pain, but instead he got his foot up in the last minute, hit the zigzag for the win. And afterwards, he's basically cut a promo, says, "I am the show off," and he had Ziggler shout to the fans, to continue chanting, "We want Ryder, he's not there, he's nothing like me." And then afterwards, you got Zack Ryder came out, hit Ziggler with the Rough Rider, and this will set up the TLC match next month between Ziggler and Ryder for the United States title. It's a damn shame that Ryder, man, he was super over in 2011, like gangbusters with that doing that YouTube show called Z True Long Island Stories. He never got that. It's in Madison Square Garden, the biggest arena in the world. He's the hometown kid. Yeah, he's from Long Island. They should have really done instead of doing the Ziggler Ryder match at TLC. They should have done this match on this show, or a triple threat match: Ziggler, Morrison, and Ryder for the United States title. Unfortunately, it's what it is, and sadly, this was John Morrison's final pay-per-view appearance of his first run. I'm guessing he left. Yeah, he got released. I think it was 2 weeks ago, or 2 weeks after the show, he lost to The Miz. I think it was a False Count Anyway match on Raw, and he was gone. He's been in the company for almost 20 years. So by the time this review is recorded, John Morrison in our current timeline once again left WWE. He's nearly 20 years. He appeared in the first two. He's been in the two series of Tough Enough for Series 2 and Series 3. He didn't make it for Series 2. He qualified for Series 3 of the show and won that show and ended up getting a contract for the WWE. He was Eric Bischoff's assistant, and then also he was Johnny Blaze, and then he went back to I think he went back to OVW. And then he was teaming up with Eminem. That's Nitro. He was formerly known as Johnny Nitro. I'm talking about John Hennigan, aka John Morrison. He was Johnny Nitro, teaming up with Joey Mercury and Melina, who at the time, I think they were like a couple. Then I think they broke up in later years. Right now, John Morrison's married to Taya Valkyrie. He was part of Eminem, then he was ECW champion as John Morrison, and teaming up with Miz and Morrison as a tag team, and then a single star IC champion. I don't know what the reason why he left the company. I don't know. I think he in his last few months in his run in WWE, I think he had a bit of neck problems. He was selling his neck. I don't know. It could play a part of his release. Maybe it has to do behind the scenes. I'm trying to find a reason. So, I think he was in 2000. Yeah, I heard rumors like he was taking time off after he got released. Maybe, and then also I think he said in 2015 in Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast that WWE wanted him to sign another multi-year contract due to his neck injury and regional pains, and also I think he was frustrated at the creative side of WWE, so So it might be his neck injury and creative play as a part of his exit. So I think it was has to do with defending his at the time his girlfriend slash wife Melina. I don't know. I don't know what the real reason. So anyway. So that was the end of John Morrison's first time in the company. He bounced around the Indies, Lucha Underground, Impact Wrestling, becoming the Impact World Champion. I think he pursued a career in acting until making his return to the WWE in 2019, reunited with The Miz, becoming SmackDown Tag Team Champions, feuding with Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, at WrestleMania 37 of this year in our current timeline, breaking up Miz and Morrison, and left the company. So, anyway, the next match, this is for the Divas Championship. We got Beth Phoenix defending the belt against Eve Torres in a lumberjill match. So basically, it's their rematch from Vengeance. I like the Vengeance match better than this match at Survivor Series between Beth and Eve. It wasn't a bad match. This is the weakest match on the show. I'm not necessarily call it a bad match, but there is no meat on the bone. The lumberjill match is pointless. The stipulation was completely pointless. I'm guessing this was basically added to the last minute. Don't really need to do a lumberjill match. I don't get it. One moment of the match, you had Eve locking a octopus hold on Beth because Eve has this jiu-jitsu training in her background because, she does a lot of jiu-jitsu black belt training, Eve is very underrated in my opinion, doesn't really get any respect. I can see Eve being in the Hall of Fame, maybe not next year, but the year after, but anyway, so, yeah, it was, like I said, not a bad match, but very weak on the card. The Lumberjills, I'm guessing who's in the Lumberjills. We got Kelly, former Divas champion. We had AJ Lee, because at the time she was known as AJ, Caitlyn, Natalia, the Bellas, Rosa Mendez, Tamina, Alicia Fox, Oksana, and Maxine, because at the time that we were doing the whole, this NXT was not the NXT you see right now, not 2.0, but the yellow brand. That'll be the following year. It was still in its game show form. Anyway, I think she got improved in Lucha Underground. Anyway, so let's get to the end. In the end, Beth hit Eve with a gland slam off the top rope for the win. A gland slam off the top rope for the win. Like I said, it's just what it is. So moving on to the next match. So the next match, we got the 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match. We got Team Barrett versus Team Orton. So represent Team Barrett, we got the team captain Wade Barrett, Jack Swagger, Hunico, the future second Sin Cara, Cody Rhodes, and Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler was basically a substitute. We'll get to that shortly. And represent Team Orton, we got their team captain Randy Orton, Sheamus, Kofi Kingston, Evan Bourne. I don't know what happened to Evan Bourne at the time. The original Sin Cara and Mason Ryan. By the way, Ziggler is filling in for Christian. Originally, Christian was supposed to be in the Team Barrett team. Unfortunately, he pulled out due to injury. Yeah, he got injured his neck. I think it hands on the Big Show. I think that was kayfabe, but he injured his ankle in his match with Sheamus because they were doing the European tour. So Christian came back. He returned for the Slammy Awards and Tribute to the Troops, and then he returned at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in 2012. But that's another story for another time. So Ziggler is basically filling in for Christian. Anyway, so the first person got eliminated was Dolph Ziggler, because basically Ziggler did double duty on the show. He defending the United States title against John Morrison in the opener, and now he's in the Survivor Series match. So yeah, he got eliminated by Randy Orton with the RKO. Sin Cara, he's the only person never got eliminated. basically got Superclaim counted out, but unfortunately he suffered a knee injury. I think Kofi and Sin Cara did like a move. I don't know. I think it was a springboard plunger. I don't know. I think it was maybe a springboard moonsault. I don't know, or springboard guillotine. I don't think he. Yeah, the first Sin Cara was notable for botches. I'm guessing he botched his move and injured his knee in the process. He's unable to continue, so Sin Cara was eliminated. This was, truly the beginning of the end of the first Sin Cara, because there's rumors that in 2012 he was supposed to face Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. Unfortunately, he didn't. Rey was still injured. So he came back. I think he came back I think it was the SmackDown after WrestleMania 28. I think teaming up Rey Mysterio, and then the first Sin Cara was released, and then Hunico became the second Sin Cara. So anyway, Mason Ryan was the third person got eliminated. He locked in Hunico with I think it was a full Nelson lock. It's similar to Bobby Lashley's Hurt Lock you see right now. Cody, I think he hit Mason Ryan with the disaster kick and hit the crossroads onto Mason Ryan for the elimination. And sadly, this was Mason Ryan's final pay-per-view appearance. He got hurt afterwards. It's very funny that Mason Ryan, you can tell like WWE in 2011, they were trying to put the eggs in the Mason Ryan basket. Unfortunately, it didn't really pan out that well because he got hurt and he was sent down to NXT. He had his feud with Sylvester Lefort and Rusev, and then he was gone from the company. And a year later, he left it. He got released in 2014, and then the following year he retired and left professional wrestling altogether. You never see him recently. I think the recent years you see Mason Ryan, he appeared on a video. It was Dr. Bo Hightower. He's basically a chiropractor. Chiropractor. He's basically, does the cracking bones. And when I saw Mason Ryan in that video, wow, he slimmed down. He was like, some people compare him to Batista. It's funny that he's a mirror image version of Batista, the Welsh version of Batista, because he looks like Batista, with long hair. He had the muscles. I think he's the same height as Batista. It's a shame. You imagine they really pushed Mason Ryan. It's a what if situation, but yeah, it's a damn shame because he debuted early of 2011, be part of the New Nexus, and then he got hurt, came back, he was kind of like in this mini feud with Dolph Ziggler, and then he got hurt. It's a damn shame. So anyway, let's continue reviewing this match. So Kofi Kingston got eliminated by Wade Barrett. I think Barrett hit the waist slam. It's way better than the bull hammer elbow. I don't like that. Eliminated Kofi Kingston. Sheamus got disqualified. He hit he kind of refused. He did some kicks onto Swagger near the corner. Refused to stop doing them, and he got DQ'd. That was stupid. And then Sheamus, he got pissed off, and then Sheamus hit the bro kick onto Swagger, and then Orton eliminates Swagger. So Barrett and Cody Rhodes are the sole survivors for this match. Orton hit the RKO onto Cody, I think, and Barrett hit the waist slam onto Orton to eliminate Orton and won he won this match for his team. It didn't amount to anything, It didn't pan out for Wade Barrett. He ended up feuding with him and Orton feuded the end of 2011 and the early parts of 2012. That's another story for another time. So this was a good match. Very underrated in my opinion, but this was good. It's not like it's a back and forth elimination. It's basically like the heels beating the baby faces. The only person that never got eliminated was Sin Cara, but he was unable to continue in this match. So, And by the way, Hunico got eliminated by Randy Orton. I think it wasn't. He hit him with the RKO. And that was the end. They tried to push Hunico, but instead didn't pan out. He ended up introducing Camacho. He's doing stuff in New Japan. Was it the Gorillas with Destiny? And then 2 years later, he's the second Sin Cara. So he teaming up with Kalisto. That was the Lucha Dragons. That's like I said, another story for another time. So I think it was a good match. I wasn't bored about this. It was a fun match to watch. It didn't really pan out for Wade Barrett, because sometimes with Survivor Series matches. They end up making and breaking careers. It didn't pan out with Wade Barrett, you know. And also Orton had a good record in Survivor Series matches. He ended up winning Survivor Series matches, or unfortunately that's not the case. You know, I think it was Orton's first. No, I think maybe 2009. So yeah, it was first since 2009 because the previous year was in the WWE title match. Yeah, his record was broken because his first one was in 2003. Team Austin versus Team Bischoff, and then Raw versus SmackDown Survivor Series match in 2005. Team DX versus Team Raider RKO. You know, it's been a lot of Survivor Series matches over the years. So let's move on to the next match. I'm kind of rambling on. So anyway, so the next match we got Mark Henry defended the World Heavyweight Championship against the Big Show. This is a rematch from Vengeance. You know, you had the match basically ended after basically both Big Show and Mark Henry collapsed the ring. Unfortunately, at this moment in time, the rivalry took really fall down the cliff a bit because basically Big Show was kind of like the third wheel at this moment in time because Mark Henry was kind of this mini feud with Daniel Bryan because Bryan was the SmackDown Money in the Bank holder. Yeah, he was kind of the third wheel at this moment in time. So let's talk about this match. This match is way better than that match at Vengeance, but that's not saying too much. You know, you had Mark Henry working on the leg of the Big Show. He kind of he basically rammed the Big Show through the barricade or spit. I don't think he speared Big Show through the barricade. I think he kind of rammed the Big Show into the barricade. Yeah, like I say, it was better than a match at Vengeance, but that's not saying too much. They were chanting Undertaker, Randy Savage. Oh, by the way, Big Show hit a diving elbow off the top rope. I think it's the first time he did that since his days in WCW as the Giant. Yeah, the fans were chanting Randy Savage because at this moment in time, it's paying tribute to Macho Man Randy Savage who passed away in May of that year. It's a good tribute. In the end, I think Big Show, he was going for like a choke slam. No, he was going for the WMD. It's basically the knockout punch, but Mark Henry low blow the Big Show for the disqualification. Afterwards, I think he hit Big Show with the World's Strongest Slam and grab a chair. He's basically trying to re-induct Big Show into the Hall of Pain. Unfortunately, Big Show got away the last minute. I think he knocked out Mark Henry, placed the chair on Mark Henry's leg, and then break Mark Henry's leg in the process. And by the way, this is set up the blow off at TLC in the chairs match. Another story, another time. Wait until next month, so until I review TLC 2011. So, like I say, it was a bit better than Vengeance, but at this moment in time, you can tell they're really giving up on Mark Henry. Like I said, wait until I review TLC 2011. So the next match, this is for the. By the way, I'm letting my cat out. Anyway, so the next match, this is for the WWE Championship. Alberto Del Rio defending the belt against CM Punk. Basically, at Hell in a Cell in October of that year, Del Rio hit Punk with the pipe to win the WWE title for the second time. And then Del Rio defended the belt against John Cena at Vengeance a couple weeks later. And the one promo, I'm going to remember this. This was on Raw. CM Punk was basically mocking John Laurinaitis' voice. He said, "I respect you, Funk Man." It's a playback to Brian Pillman's promo towards Kevin Sullivan. I respect you, Booker Man, because at the time Kevin Sullivan was the booker of WCW. Because I reviewed WCW Super Bowl 6 on this channel months ago. Go and check it out. So I remember that promo. Mocking Laurinaitis' voice. I respect you, Funk Man, because he was part of the Dudes with Shane Douglas, future ECW World Champion. Anyway, so a couple weeks later, basically Del Rio didn't want Punk to become the champion or the number one contender for Del Rio's championship. There's one Raw when basically CM Punk's in this match with Mark Henry. Ricardo hit Mark Henry with Ricardo's shoes, and then I think and basically the reason why Del Rio give Punk a title because Punk locked Del Rio with the Arakan device to give him a shot for the title. Anyway, so Punk came out. He had because Del Rio had his personal ring announcer Ricardo Rodriguez, announce him in Spanish. Punk, you had Howard Finkel introduce CM Punk. That was good to see the Fink, Howard Finkel. I say the Funk, but Howard Finkel came out, introduced CM Punk. That was good. The match was good. I could say match of the night between Punk and Del Rio for the championship. Back and forth. Really, the bulk of the match had Del Rio working on the arm of CM Punk to basically set up the cross arm breaker. He did lock in the submission hold. Punk reached the ropes. I'm trying to keep it short and simple, folks. In the end, he hit Del Rio with the diving elbow. Yeah, it's just basically paying tribute to Macho Man Randy Savage. And yeah, in the end, I think he was trying to do the. I thought he was going to hit Del Rio with the switch in music. He was doing the Shawn Michaels, tuning up the band, but he didn't. He's trying to set up the GTS. In the end, Punk locked in the Arakan device onto Del Rio. Del Rio tapped out, and CM Punk become a two-time WWE champion. He kind of celebrate with the crowd. It was I think putting the belt on Punk on this show, it was a good idea. It was a good decision because he lost 4 pay-per-view matches since, winning the WWE title in his hometown in Chicago in July of that year. Because he retained the title against John Cena in the Unification WWE title match at SummerSlam. Del Rio cashed in the briefcase and won the title from Punk after the attack by Kevin Nash. And then at Night of Champions lost to Triple H. In October at Hell in a Cell lost the Triple Threat Hell in a Cell match, and then the previous pay-per-view at Vengeance he lost the tag team match between him and Triple H versus Awesome Truth. So if he lost on the show, that'll be the end of Punk, I think. But I think he will get the title if he lost. But I think doing this at Madison Square Garden was the right choice. It was the right decision. So this is Del Rio's best match as a world champion, whether he's the WWE champion or the World Heavyweight champion. I think that this match and also his match with Christian at SummerSlam 2 years later is one of his best matches as a world champion. And also the Big Show in the Last Man Standing match at the Royal Rumble as well. I rate it, but like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Del Rio, but he's an okay worker. But I think Punk carried him to a great match. And this was kicking off CM Punk's 434 days reign as the WWE champion. He will hold that belt until losing it to The Rock at the Royal Rumble in 2013. I think he became the 6th longest reigning WWE champion. I think the first time he held it longer since the 80s, Hulk Hogan in the 1980s. He became the first person to defend it and hold the title in a 1 calendar year since John Cena in 2006, 2007. And the next person did that will be AJ Styles, in 2017 and 2018. So moving on to the main event. We've got a tag team match. We've got the Awesome Truth, that is the Miz and R-Truth, taking on 2-man World Main Event, WrestleMania 28 the following year in 2012. John Cena and The Rock. This is The Rock's first wrestling match for almost 7 years. His last one was at WrestleMania 20 in 2004. The 3-on-2 handicap match, Evolution versus Rock and Sock Connection. So, The Rock made his return to the company in 2011 in February, becoming the host of WrestleMania 27. Then at WrestleMania 27, he had his beef with John Cena. Because even though Cena said in an interview that he will never pursue a career in movies because he doesn't want to end up like The Rock, that's the reason why The Rock hate John Cena, had that beef. Anyway, so at WrestleMania 27, The Rock cost John Cena the WWE title against The Miz. Then the Raw after Mania, the following nights, they announced that they're going to fight at the following year's WrestleMania in 2012 in The Rock's hometown in Miami in the main event. So fast forward to basically the Raw after Vengeance. Then, Joe Laurinaitis at the time, the temporary Raw GM, announced that Awesome Truth will be in a match with John Cena and his opponent, not opponent, as his tag team partner. So John Cena picked his WrestleMania 28 opponent, The Rock, to be his tag team partner. The Rock kind of accepts, and that's the reason why it's, you know, the tagline's called Never Before, Never Again. I'll get to that tagline afterwards. You know, that's just a crop of crap. So anyway, so and also, like, they don't really need to have John Cena and The Rock teaming up against Austin Truth, because weeks before building up to the main event on this show, Cena was feuding with Austin Truth. They had a tag team match, you know, John Cena and Zack Ryder taking on the Austin Truth, and then I think John Cena fought The Miz on Raw. Yeah, it's just like, why they need to do that? It's in Madison Square Garden, because the reason why, because it marks 15-year anniversary of The Rock's debut on this show. So, and before we get to talking about the main event, the actual match, The Rock did a promo. He said, like, he brings up, like, showing his dad and his grandfather, and really his debut in this event. And he brings up the historic event at Madison Square Garden, you know, Frank Sinatra's concert, the fight between Ali versus Fraser. He bring up his catchphrase, and when it cut to the Austin Truth, he just says Miz and Truth, boots to asses. When he gets to John Cena, he said about, like, the shoving a thunderbolt into his lady parts. Basically, on the Go Home show to Raw, The Rock cut a promo on John Cena. They kind of basically trading insults. And Rock says, you know, John Cena's lady parts all over the internet. You know, it's just what it is. He has to kind of tone his character down a bit, you know, because it's the PG era. But it's just, you know, it's still funny. But anyway, so yeah. Let's talk about the actual match itself. You know, you can tell, like, the fans were cheering for The Rock, and The Rock was, you know, he could still go because The Rock is still in good shape, and to this day he's still in good shape right now. They were cheering for The Rock, and they're booing John Cena. I think they were chanting Cena and The Rock together for a bit, but they were chanting "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks," and "You still suck" towards John Cena. You can tell, like, you know, this is the man fans hating John Cena, not the girl, the female, and the kids. Just the men demographic really hating John Cena. They don't really need to do anything because you got really a hot crowd, and you don't need to be spectacular. You got, like, like I said, Rock, and then the fans really shitting on John Cena. Try to keep it short and simple. The bulk of the match, you had basically Austin Truth working down John Cena. It's funny that he was trying to do the 5-knuckle shuffle. He did the you can't see me towards The Rock. That really booed The Rock. Not booing The Rock, but booing John Cena, because he's doing it on a guy who's most popular against a guy that, like, the fans really despise. Anyway, so in the end, The Rock hit the rock bottom and the people's elbow. It's very funny that it's another fantasy match we're never going to see. For me, you know, like The Rock and The Miz, because the Rock and The Miz they're both similar. The Rock is the great one, The Miz is the awesome one. They've both got good catchphrase. The Rock, you know, you can smell what The Rock's cooking. Just bring it, boots the asses. The Miz does, I'm The Miz, I'm awesome. Really, you know, it's. I hope they probably do a match one day, you know. Because the Miz is still doing the Hollywood gimmick, and if Rock, you know, come back as Hollywood Rock, you know, that'd be really good, you know. But that's not going to happen. That'd be my fantasy booking. But anyway, it's one I'm actually not going to see again. But you know, like I said, Rock and Miz are kind of similar. You know, because Miz also appeared in MTV, you know, and also appeared in movies himself. This was years after, you know, this match at Survivor Series. And also, it's funny that 10 years on, both The Rock and John Cena are now in Hollywood. You know, bit on a note there. So anyway, yeah, The Rock hit the rock bottom and the people's elbow onto The Miz to win this match for his tag team partner John Cena. That was, yeah, he's basically getting the end of Cena's bargain. And afterwards, you know, The Rock hit John Cena with the rock bomb to basically getting the fans leave happy. It's just what it is. And then afterwards, you know, the following year, WrestleMania 28, they end up fighting, and also that never before, never again crap, because they end up teaming up again 5 years later at WrestleMania in 2016 against the Wyatts. So, rock of shit. Similar to the end of an era. One day I might review WrestleMania 28. We'll get to that 10-year anniversary of that show. So, like I said, the main event was good. Wasn't a perfect main event, but it was a fun main event to see The Rock can still go. You know, John Cena getting shit on. Austin Truth were good as on their own, but this was the end of Austin Truth. Because the next night on Raw, The Miz turned on R-Truth, because in reality, I found this on a website. I thought like R-Truth injured his hand after he took the Skull Crusher finale by The Miz, but in reality, he suffered he basically suspended for 30 days, violated a wellness policy, and then it was a bad mistake, you know, breaking up Austin Truth, because, like I said, by the way, the Survivor Series main event, their match, you know, Austin Truth versus John Cena and The Rock, is way better than their match at Vengeance between Austin Truth versus CM Punk and Triple H. I place John Cena and The Rock versus Austin Truth, you know, I'm talking about Austin Truth, by the way. You know, this is number one. Second place has to be Austin Truth versus Boom. And then third place, you know, Austin Truth versus Triple H and CM Punk. Yeah, I don't know why they broke up Austin Truth, man. It really hurt R-Truth, personally, man, because I'll get to The Miz when I review TLC. I think this match and the TLC match next month I'm going to talk about, it really hurt him for 5 years. But with R-Truth, after The Miz turned on him, and he went back as the babyface, he became a comedy act, you know, teaming up with Kofi Kingston. Unfortunately, that never caught on fire. You know, they put the tag team belts on them. But yeah, he became a comedy figure after that, became a babyface to this day, a multiple time 24/7 champion. It really hurt him, and you know, because like in the spring, going up to the main event of Survivor Series, they are pushing him. Yeah, he faced John Cena for the WWE title at Capital Punishment in May of that year, but let's be honest, I've never seen R-Truth becoming WWE champion. It's just basically a filler feud for John Cena for facing CM Punk at Money in the Bank. But I think the reason why they never push R-Truth heavily has to do with his age. Yeah, he debuted before 2011. He debuted 10 years in the Attitude Era, but that was just a cup of coffee. But I think the reason why he's never got pushed heavily, yeah, maybe violated wellness policy, but it has to do with his age. You know, right now he's 49. Yeah, he was in his late 30s when he got pushed. I guess if he was a little younger, I think he might have a shot. You know, I think I see R-Truth more like the heel hip hop guy instead of doing Lil Jimmy. Some people find it funny, but for me, I find it very annoying. It's basically got old very soon. It's more of a minority thing for me. But yeah, I think breaking up R-Truth was a bad idea. You know, they never become tag team champions. It's basically like, what's the point having them being Triple H and CM Punk, two former WWE champions? They end up losing to another two former WWE champions as John Cena and The Rock. So it's just like a burial. You know, it's just a shame. You know, it's the bit for 2011 is the best of times and the worst of times for R-Truth. You know, after they went up, yeah, R-Truth never like touched the main event scene ever again. You know, he had 2 main event pay-per-view matches of that year. You know, feuding with facing John Cena in the main event of Capital Punishment for the WWE title, and the tag team match on this show. So it's just one here. So anyway, so my final rating for Survivor Series 2011, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. This, in my opinion, this is the best Survivor Series of the PG era. It's really, in my opinion, it has this Survivor Series 02 vibes because it's in Madison Square Garden. No, the only thing in the bad, it wasn't really necessarily a bad. I don't think it's worth it to be in the okay. You know, Beth Phoenix versus Eve Torres for the Divas title in the Lumberjill match was just the weakest match of the card. Besides that, not bad. You know, ugly match on the show. The only thing in the okay has to be Mark Henry versus Big Show for the world title. It's just set up the blow off at TLC the following month, but it was an okay match, way better than that match at Vengeance, like I said. But besides that, a really solid card. Really solid. Like the opener, Ziggler versus John Morrison for the United States title. the Survivor Series match, Team Barrett versus Team Orton, CM Punk, Del Rio, CM Punk for the WWE title, and the main event between John Cena and The Rock versus Austin Truth. Yeah, this was a really solid show. I think this is gotta be the top 2 or the top 3 best shows for the WWE in 2011. The number 1 has to be Money in the Bank 2011, by the way. So, yeah. Ranking this Survivor Series, this has got to be in the top 5. I can't put it in the top 3, but it's got to be in the top 5, top 10 best Survivor Series show of all time. So I'm getting stumbling, by the way, but yeah, I suggest you check out Survivor Series 2011. It's a good show. So anyway, so hope you enjoyed my review of Survivor Series 2011. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash the like button, click the bell, subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube, be part of the Central Unit. Next time, I'm gonna do one more Survivor Series pay-per-view to review before the month is out. Haven't really gone into the archives of the Attitude Era. The last Attitude Era pay-per-view I reviewed was Judgment Day 2001. That was, the two-man power trip versus the BOD, the Brothers of Destruction, in singles matches. Austin Taker, Triple H, Kane. This was before the whole invasion kicked in. So, last year I reviewed Survivor Series 99. That was memorable for the debut of Kurt Angle and who ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin. And let's travel to the year 2000. It was one of the best years for the Attitude Era. 1 year after who ran down Steve Austin. Austin facing the man who ran him down in that hit and run attempt, Triple H. Yeah, I'm talking about Survivor Series 2000. This is Essential Man officially signing out. Check you later. And that's my review of WWE Survivor Series 2011. This was really a 2 thumbs up show.